Hello, friends. Greetings. At the start of this episode, I would like to announce the passing away of a very good friend and a colleague at the City University of Seattle's teaching faculty, Jim Caldwell. I got the news early in the morning of his passing away in the United States. I remember I remember Jim as a fantastic personality. The picture that you see was captured in 2015 in Beijing, where we spent roughly around 3 weeks together. And we used to almost have lunch and dinner together. Jim would be fondly remembered for his sense of humor, and most importantly, the timing of his humor and his taste of good food. Friends, it's so difficult when the people that you know, the people that you have spent a good time with, suddenly pass away without saying goodbyes. And this brings me to a point to just let you know, to those who are watching me live on this episode, that life is fragile. Keep contact with the people that you really care for, that the people that you really value. At this point of time, I would just say, Jim, thank you for all the moments that I have shared with you. Thank you for the laughs that we had, for the travels that we took together in the train in Bratislava, in Trenchin, in Bulgaria, in Romania, in China. And my wish is that you rest well. Rest in eternal peace, Jim, until and unless we meet again. Welcome, friends. Welcome to yet another episode of Tea Talk with me, Owen Fernandez. I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever in the world you are. I just pray that you are safe and that you're doing well. Today is the 9th of December, 2021, and the topic for today is how to do more with less. We are on episode number 64. Friends, we live in a world that is rapidly changing, and most of us are always busy juggling between work, between life, between family, between kids, between checking emails, between scheduling meetings, showing up at meetings. Of course, now it's all virtual Zoom and Teams and whatnot and what sort. In my case, I constantly am basically doing something or the other with a lot of work on the computer and an endless streams of browsers open in on in my computer and rushing from one thing to the other without pausing. And I believe at this point of time, as I'm speaking, many of us do relate to what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, we find ourselves exhausted and almost burnt out, and we have got no energy even to spend some good time with family and friends at home. And the same routine starts over and over again. We start the next day ready for a mindless stream of tasks and distractions and whatnot. We just are so busy. In fact, we should learn to do things effectively and never mistake busyness with effectiveness. Now, we all know, we have spoken in the past, that multitasking is overrated and not optimal. So, in a scenario like this, in a situation like this, what can we do instead? Why can't we learn the art of accomplishing more by doing little? The Pareto principle, also called as the 80-20 rule, is an effective rule which explains and helps us to accomplish 80% results with 20% effort. Now, most of us are aware of this principle, but not many of us put it into practice. In fact, I know a lot of people, including myself at time, fail to apply it into our lives effectively. Instead, we keep adding tasks to our to-do list, assuming that we are superhumans and everything can be accomplished. Friends, we are so wrong. So in this episode, I will share some benefits of doing less and achieving more. And in the process, I would also like to share 6 ways of getting things done more with less effort. So, if you are on the call today, friends, grab a cup of tea or coffee, take a comfortable seat as we relax and go deeper into this topic. Just for those who do not know, I live in Central Europe in a very beautiful country called Slovakia, right in the heart of Europe. And since last evening, late last evening, it has been snowing steadily. And this morning, before taking my my car out, I had to clean a lot of snow over my car. So it's been snowing. We must have had at least 10 centimeters of snow by now. So it's good time to take a hot cup of tea or coffee or whatever your favorite drink is, and please let us know in the chat where you are watching from. I would be happy to interact with you while I'm streaming live. I've got a chat box, I've got multiple screens out here. So, just in case if you want to shout out to me, please be free and let me know. Once again, today is the 9th of December 2021, and we are on episode number 64, How to Do More with Less. I see a good friend of mine, Peter Bordage. He says people should learn how to start working in a smart way rather than working hard or not efficiently. Absolutely spot on. Thank you, Peter, for showing up. And I really appreciate that you regularly show up and support and encourage me. I also have a good friend from Oman, Amur Al Habsi. Greetings to you, Amur. Amur, I hope you're doing well. So, friends, without much ado, let's get into the topic, how to do more with less. As usual, I like to start with the quote, and this time, if you see the person on the screen, it's a younger version of Robert T. Kiyosaki, related to the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, he says, and I quote, doing more with less is a crucial principle. A guy of his stature saying that doing more with less is a crucial principle to learn, especially if you're going to be in business in this rapidly changing world. For those who are not in business, you can put this into the perspective of your life and the business that busyness that surrounds your life with. Doing more with less is a crucial principle to learn, especially if you're going to be in business in this rapidly changing world. Friends, I've realized this, that when we use words like more and less, something like weighing, we talk about quantity or in fact productivity. Productivity is more a state of flow than rather than any particular process as such. That state is a choice and it depends on one thing, and that thing is focus. So the question normally arises is, how do you enter the flow state? Friends, to enter it, you need to first make a choice. You need to choose to become fully absorbed in the task at hand, whatever the task could be, and then remove distractions and commit wholly to that job at hand. The more you allow yourself to be immersed and absorbed in one particular activity, the faster you will enter into your unique flow state. So, in a sense, I'm trying to tell you, focus on the most important and essential things. Keep yourself away from all sorts of distraction and noise. Now, you and I know focus can lead to flow. And when you flow, you have an output, an outcome, which we call results. And those results, if they are good, definitely will be associated with rewards. Wherever your focus goes, there your energy flows. And if your focus is razor like, sharp, focused, definitely you will do better. So you may ask me, Owen, what are the benefits of doing this? Let me share a few benefits of doing less. The first one is that, friends, you accomplish more. You may ask me how, but here I would ask you, I would rather tell you to exercise caution. No, you don't get more done. In fact, you are doing less. But if you do less and focus on the important stuff, you achieve better results. And then automatically you are able to have more meaningful accomplishments. So, but if you are in a state of chaos and if you have got many things bouncing off, the mind, the brain is not able to handle so many information that is coming in. And thus it tends, as I said before, multitasking, it's just not possible for the human mind. So think about it. If you start doing something less with more laser type focus, you're going to accomplish more. The second benefit is that you will have less anxiety. Friends, when you let go of the distractions and the non essentials, you free yourself from the fear that you need to do these things. You learn that your world doesn't fall apart when you let these things go. The Pareto principle is so very clear. Focus on the essentials and thus reduce anxiety. The third benefit, and who would not like to have this benefit, is that you have more time to enjoy life. Taking time to really focus on an important task or enjoy the little things rather than rushing through them is a great experience that you can really relish and savor for a long period of time. So when you do less, all of a sudden, you will realize that you have got some free time. Now, what can you do with that time? Oh my God. Time is precious. How about spending that time with your loved ones? How about spending that time with reading some good self-development books or self-improvement books, or for that matter, even a novel or even a story? What about writing? What about listening to some good music, or even if you are talented, what about composing music? What about sketching? What about drawing? What about doing some physical exercise? What about trying your hand at cooking? What about thinking about passive income, thinking about owning a business? Or if that is not what you want, what about simply resting, meditating, doing yoga? And the fourth benefit I would like to share is that when you try to do things less, and those things could create a better impact, definitely you're going to have less stress. And less stress means better health. Better health means better living, and better living means a longer life. So the benefits of doing less in order to achieve something more and something impactful is that there is a high possibility that you could accomplish more, something more meaningful, something more significant, something more of more value. Needless to say, it means to say that if you want to get something more, you also need to give up something of lesser importance. It's called the law of trade off. That would result in less anxiety, less stress, and more time to enjoy with your loved ones or whatever is important to you. So, the next question, of course, is how to do more with less. How to do more with less. First and foremost, I would say, whatever you want to do something with a definite purpose in mind, or find a definite purpose to do that activity. In simple words, before we start doing any task or adding it to our to do list, we should first try to understand the purpose of that task. Ask yourself these questions. Is the task important? Is it something that has to be prioritized? Or it could be even urgent. Now, all tasks cannot be important and urgent at the same time. Something is wrong there. But just imagine if all the tasks are important and if all the tasks are urgent, what would life be? Friends, when we focus on the reason why we do each task and then apply ourselves to it, our productivity increases. My mentor Paul Martinelli always used to say, find purpose in whatever you do, and every activity associate it or see it through the lens of that particular purpose. Friends, you will come to know that sometimes what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. We should learn to notice the difference. So, if you want to do more with less, get clarity, be very specific, find the purpose of why you want to do the job, and then connect it with how, what, where, when, and who, with whom. Find a definite purpose. The second point I would like to share in how to do more with less is learn to say no. Most of us have difficulty in saying no to the request that people put in front of us or for the requests that just come in our way. So, friends, think about it. Next time when someone makes a request, we must think about if it helps us achieve our goals, or is it interfering with our time and with the family, or it is just taking away from the purpose. Now, no, it is not selfish. Don't try to misunderstand me. You have to prioritize. In fact, we spoke about this in episode 60 just a few weeks ago on the 24th of November 2021. The topic of that particular episode was how to stop people pleasing. There, I did suggest that you are allowed to say no. There, I did mention no is a complete sentence. A no to them is a yes to you or to me. Stay in your lane. Fulfill your purpose, fulfill your assignment, and learn to say no. Now, in learning to say no, you have got to understand that there is a possibility that you could hurt people's feeling. So please be careful and use kind words to say no. I'm afraid, I'm sorry, I have better tasks to do. Be polite, be kind. And it's okay to say no kindly, and you can learn to say no kindly. So, the first one is find a definite purpose. The second one is learn to say no. The third one is if you want to have more from less, work on your strengths and not on your weaknesses. Now, as a psychometric analyst, for the last 14 years, I'm just helping people to find their strengths. Friends, working on your strengths or working on your gifts or working on your talents help you to grow quickly. Whereas working on weaknesses, working on shortcomings are just there to help you solve certain problems in life. Now, I don't say that you've got to ignore your weaknesses. You need to know your weaknesses, but move on to the fast lane for which you are created, for which you are gifted, for which you are talented, which is your core strength. Work on your strengths, not on your weaknesses. It is very important to focus on our strengths and do things that we are good at rather than spend time in which we are not good at. Now, I've had opposition in the past saying that, Owen, are you telling me that I need not work on my weaknesses? I say yes, and a strong yes. If you know that you have got weaknesses, try to look at the other side and says that there must be something that you're good on or you're good with. That's your sweet spot. Why don't you start from something strong? Yes, be aware of those weaknesses. And in the process of you building up on your strengths, there is a high possibility that if it is something that you can outsource, your weaknesses can always be outsourced if it is not concerning you. Now, if it is concerning you and that weakness is important for you to grow, develop, and become the person that you are called to be, then definitely you've got to work on that. And that's what coaches, mentors, and people are there to support you. Work on your strengths, friend. The fourth point that I would like to share at this point of time is listen to your body's clock. Friends, we have got a physical aspect to our existence, we have got a spiritual aspect to our existence. So you have to understand that we have a physical body that undergoes wear and tear over time. What you do to your body is going to give it back to you, maybe with interest in various shapes and forms. Listen to your body's clock. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the best ways, friends, to get more done in less time is to work on our most important tasks when we are most effective. We need to manage energies. All of us have got 24 hours in a day, but there are certain people who can do more in the mornings. There are certain people who can do more post lunch, and there are certain people who can do many things in the evenings. We all have a peak time of the day during which our brain capacity works at its highest. Now, this is what I want you to be aware of. Now, in my case, I've always been a morning person. I've always been a morning person. I love the mornings. 4:30, 5 o'clock is what I would get up, and I would love to get up, and I do most of the time. And that's the time that I'm most productive. Know your energy levels. Please try to identify what time of the day works for you and set that time aside to work on your most important task for the day. As Brian Tracy would say, eat the frog. Attack your most important, most difficult part and get the whole thing done. I have a good friend of mine, Pratik, on the call. Thank you for showing up. Amur has this question, how this will be recognized. I don't understand the context of the question. So if you still are on the chat, can you just add a few points as to what exactly is that question talking about? So maybe I would be able I would help you to get answers to it if I can. Find a definite purpose. Learn to say no. It's okay to say no and say it politely. Find your strengths. Work on your strength. Now, just in case if you are having challenge working on your strengths and you do not know your strengths, you do not know how to find purpose. In fact, purpose is you discover your purpose. But when it comes to task, you need to be crystal clear. Why are you doing those tasks? Reach out to me, friends. I'm here for you. Write a mail to me, owen@owenfernandez.com, and we can go on a free, obligatory 30-minute call just to talk about you and to focus on your challenges. Listen to your body's clock. Find out where and at what point, what part of the day that you have got the highest energy to do a particular task. And when I'm talking about energy, I'm also talking about intellectual capacity. Keep yourself away from distraction. Point number 5 is sharpen your saw. Now, if you have been a person who used to love books, to read books, there is a fantastic book from Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about sharpening the saw. Now, when you're talking about sharpening the saw, just keep this picture in mind. A sharp blade, friends, a sharp blade or an axe cuts more trees than a dull blade or a blunt axe. Just imagine that if you have a Herculean task of cutting trees, trust me, yes, you have got a tool which could be the axe or a saw, but just imagine that if you are not sharpening the saw at periodic intervals, you'll have to put a lot of physical effort, more than required, in order to get those trees down or the task done. A sharp saw gives you better and faster results than a dull saw. Now, you may ask me, how can I sharpen my so called saw? The ways we can sharpen our saw is by taking frequent short breaks through the day, reflecting on what must we do, thinking smart, as Peter said, being sharp physically, mentally, getting good sleep, eating healthy and on time, drinking a lot of fluids, setting aside or devoting some time for relaxation and self care, and taking a vacation once in a while, if it is permissible in these COVID times. Sharpen your saw, get better. And when you get better, you do better. And when you do better, you attract wealth and people to you. And last but not the least, set deadlines. Friends, setting a deadline forces us to get started and finish the task at hand. In fact, it also acts as a reminder, letting us know when we need to stop working on a task. Deadlines. We can get more done in less time by setting a clear start date, a stop date for each of our activities or each of our projects, instead of continuing to edit and polish our projects indefinitely, which is a direct outcome of procrastination, lack of motivation, and outright laziness. So have a look at this screen right now. Find a definite purpose, learn to say no, work on your strengths, listen to your body's clock, sharpen your saw, and set deadlines. Friends, as I summarize this episode, I would like to quote Paul Hawken, an American environmentalist, an entrepreneur, an author, an economist, and an activist. He says, and I quote, "The future belongs to those who understand that doing more with less is compassionate, prosperous, and enduring, and thus more intelligent and even competitive." Think about it, friends. Think about it. If we could do less inessential stuff, I repeat, if we could do less inessential stuff, we'd be able to do better what is essential. For that, you need to learn to know the essential. For that, you need to ask questions. Is this important? Is this essential? Is this urgent? What is that I need? And thus the purpose comes to the fore. It becomes important. I do agree it takes time to figure out what task gives you the most impact on your life, your career, your ability to help others and change the world. So it's all an individual choice. But start learning today. Pick what you think is most essential, clear some space, and just work and focus on those things and enjoy doing those things, because you have added a purpose to that particular task. Reduce distractions, keep yourself away from noise. Now, in the world that we are living in right now, consider going on a digital cleanliness, digital, just take a break. Take a day or a week off from social media, from news, from entertainment, gossip. places you usually spend on, places which I call distractions. And then suddenly you will find out that you are able to do more with less. But of course, distractions come into the way. There are a lot of things that are being held to us like a carrot in front of us. What will you do when you feel some distractions? Simple. Take a pause. Think, reflect, meditate, exercise, and learn to create. For those who are still not convinced that doing less will result in actually getting more done, consider this. It's not about actually having less on your plate. It's about allowing your mind to focus on one task at a time so that you can actually complete those things fully and well. For somebody to say, good, a good job done. From there, you can build momentum to go on to the next task. Simply overloading your to do list and overwhelming your brain is not forcing you to perform faster. It's actually a sure short recipe to ensure that you are actually accomplishing less than you would if you only gave yourself few tasks per day and complete those tasks. As Donald Irwin Knuth, an American computer scientist, mathematician, and professor emeritus of Stanford University, said, and I quote, it is much more rewarding to do more with less. End of quote. It is much more rewarding to do more with less. Friends, thanks for watching. You will find the references of what has been shared at the end of this talk. Feel free to use them further for your personal growth and development. If you have liked this episode, please comment and share. Also, you could go to my YouTube channel where all the previous 63 episodes are lined up for you. You can watch it, you can subscribe to it. There you will find this video as well as many other videos. Friends, remember, the win is always within you. I, Owen Fernandez, am here to help you be victorious. I believe in you, and together we can. So stay safe. See you on the next episode next week on Tea Time with me, Owen Fernandez. Bye for now.